Hi SuperFunners! Today I'm showing you all my dinosaurs, marine reptiles and flying reptiles that start with the letter A. It must be the most popular letter for dinosaur names. There is something special about the order I'm showing them in. If you know, please comment below, even if someone else already has. If you don't know the answer, it is on line 10 of the description. This is Achelousaurus. It lived in the late Cretaceous period. It was a four-legged herbivore with a parrot-like beak, a raised bony snout and brows. It featured two distinct horns on its neck frill. They could grow up to 20 feet long and weigh 3 tons. Achelousaurus was a medium-sized ceratopsian. Give a thumbs up if you like dinosaurs. This is Acrocanthosaurus, one of my favorite dinosaurs. It lived during the early Cretaceous period in the tropics. It was a fierce predator and grew to roughly 40 feet long and weighed up to 6 tons. It had a large head with a 4.5-foot skull and 68 thin, sharp, serrated teeth. Have a look at that. And here's another Acrocanthosaurus. It had quite strong arms with 3-fingered hands with long sickle-like claws. The back legs were very powerful. It had a long slender tail that balanced its body when it ran. Now I really like this. This is the rebel Acrocanthosaurus. I'll be doing a full review on this very soon. It had 17-inch spikes extending from its vertebrae along the neck and tail. It may have formed a thick fleshy sail on its back. It was a large fierce predator that could kill even large sauropods. Acrocanthosaurus may also have been a scavenger. This is Afrovenator. It lived during the Middle Jurassic period and was a fearsome 2-legged predator with 3 claws on each hand of its short arms. It had powerful jaws with rows of 2-inch serrated dagger-like teeth, which were good for slicing through flesh. It grew to about 30 feet long with a stiff tail, and it's related to Allosaurus. This is Agustinia. It lived in the early Cretaceous period. It is a primitive titanosaur. Its spiked armor consists of sideways turned plates. It could grow to 49 feet. It was a herbivore and lived in the woodlands of South America. Alamosaurus lived during the late Cretaceous period. It had 4 column-like legs and was a plant-eating sauropod. It had a long neck, a whippy tail, and quite a bulky body. It grew to about 69 feet long and weighed perhaps 33 tons. Its body was partly covered in bony armour. This is Alioramus. It lived during the late Cretaceous period. It was a carnivore that walked on 2 legs. The adult size is difficult to estimate since both species are only known from juvenile or sub-adult remains. Some scientists think it may have grown to 18 feet in length. The genus Alioramus had a series of 5 bony crests along the top of the snout, a great number of sharp teeth, and a lower skull. It was a medium-sized tyrannosaur closely related to Tarbosaur. Allosaurus was a carnivore that lived during the late Jurassic period. It was a powerful predator that walked on 2 legs with a huge head, sharp serrated teeth, quite short arms, and 3-fingered hands with sharp claws that were up to 6 inches long. Allosaurus grew up to 38 feet long and 16.5 feet tall. Allosaurus weighed about 1.5 tons. It had a 3-foot-long skull with short brow horns with bony knobs and ridges above its eyes and on the top of the head. It had large, powerful jaws with long, sharp, serrated teeth, 2 to 4 inches long. Allosaurus had a massive tail, a bulky body, and heavy bones. It probably ate large, plant-eating dinosaurs like Stegosaurus or medium-sized sauropods. Allosaurus was the most abundant predator in late Jurassic. Its main competitor for food was Ceratosaurus. Amargasaurus, here's the mini, lived during the early Cretaceous period. It was a herbivore and grew to about 33 feet long and weighed roughly 5 tons. It had blunt, peg-like teeth for stripping leaves off branches, and it could swallow leaves whole and may have swallowed stones to aid digestion. Its main food source was conifers. It would have also eaten ferns, mosses, and any other available plant matter. Amargasaurus walked on 4 legs. Each foot had 5 toes, including a thumb claw. It had a small head, a long neck, and a very long tail. Notice the 2 rows of spines growing out along its backbone, along its neck, body, and tail. These spines may have had a covering of skin to form a double sail. Without the sail, the spikes could have been used for protection. Ampelosaurus was a medium-sized sauropod from the late Cretaceous period. It had a long neck and walked around on 4 thick but slow legs. It was a type of titanosaur. It was closely related to Saltosaurus. It ate plant matter with the help of gastroliths and was able to digest it within its huge gut. It grew to be about 50 feet long and over 10 tons in weight. Its whip-like tail was very long and was used to keep predators away. It had an armor-like plating called osteoderms that ran all the way down its back to the beginning of the tail. This is Anhanguera. It was a carnivorous flying reptile that lived during the early Cretaceous period. It was a pterosaur, not a dinosaur, and mainly ate fish. Its skull was 1.6 feet long, with rounded crests at the front of its sturdy upper and lower tapered jaws, which were filled with angled, conical, curved teeth, giving it quite a bulbous snout. Anhanguera had an estimated wingspan of 14 feet. Its feet pointed outwards, so it would have had trouble walking on land. Here's the Ankylosaurus mini. Ankylosaurus lived in the late Cretaceous period. It was a prehistoric tank, with oval plates protecting its whole body except the underbelly. These plates and the 2 rows of spikes along its body, a horned head and a club-like tail protected it well from predators. It even had bony plates as eyelids. It would defend itself by swinging its club-like tail from side to side. The club-like tail could swing with enough force to break the leg bones of most carnivores, including T-Rex. Flipping it over was the only way to wound it. Ankylosaurus grew to 20 feet long, 5 feet wide, and 5.5 feet tall at the hip, weighing around 3 to 4 tons. This is another Ankylosaurus. You can see the 4 short legs, and notice the rear legs are larger than the front ones. A short neck and a wide skull with a tiny brain. It was a herbivore and had to eat a huge amount of plants that were close to the ground to sustain itself. The skull had 2 pairs of sideways pointing horns and a beak-like mouth. The Papo Ankylosaurus more resembles Euoplocephalus or Scolosaurus. Both are members of the Ankylosaur family. It may have been able to lay down and pull its legs under the bony plates when under attack. The Apatosaurus mini. Apatosaurus lived during the late Jurassic period and was one of the largest land animals that ever existed. It could grow to 90 feet long and approximately 15 feet tall at the hips. It weighed up to 38 tons. Its small head had a long skull and was less than 2 feet long, with its nostrils on top of its head. It held its head 17 feet off the ground, which gave it protection from Allosaurus, who only grew to 15 feet tall, and predators would have kept away from the scary whip-like tail and clawed feet. The vertebrae had a groove along the top. This held a strong ligament that supported the weight of the neck and tail, like the cables on a suspension bridge. The tail would counterbalance the head. The long neck was used to forage and poke into areas where it would not fit or to avoid swampy ground. It used its spoon-shaped teeth to strip and gather foliage like conifers, other tree leaves, algae and ferns. It would also swallow stones to aid digestion. Apatosaurus had a long 50-foot whip-like tail and 4 massive, slow-moving column-like legs. Its hind legs were larger than the front legs. Fossilized footprint tracks have found that they were about a yard wide. Apatosaurus may have used its tail as a third leg in order to graze very tall vegetation. Apatosaurus hatched from enormous eggs that were 1 foot wide. Archaeopteryx lived during the Jurassic period when many dinosaurs lived. It is one of the oldest known birds. It was a carnivore and may have eaten insects and other small animals. Archaeopteryx seemed to be half bird and half dinosaur. It had teeth, 3 claws on each wing, a flat breastbone, hanging belly ribs, and a long bony tail. Like present-day birds, it had feathers, a lightly built body with hollow bones, a wishbone and reduced fingers. It may have been able to fly, but not very far. Similarities to dinosaurs were its teeth, skull, the lack of a horny bill, the flat breastbone, and ribs attached to its skin. Archaeopteryx had a wingspan of about 1.5 feet and was about 1 foot long from beak to tail. Argentinosaurus, here's my twins, lived during the Middle Cretaceous period. It grew to 98 feet long and weighed about 73 tons. Argentinosaurus may be the largest dinosaur. It had a long neck, a long tail, and a small head. It was a herbivore. It probably used its long neck to reach into conifers or sweep the ground in search of ferns and bushes. Once swallowed, the food would have needed to travel all the way down the neck before entering the stomach. Inside the stomach, the vegetation would have been broken down by gastroliths. Argentinosaurus laid eggs about the size of a rugby ball. This is Attenborosaurus. It was a marine reptile that grew to about 16 feet. Its diet was mainly fish and other sea animals. It had an extremely long neck. It only had a few large teeth for chomping down on fish. It was a plesiosaur. And last we have Australovenator. It was a carnivore that lived during the Middle Cretaceous period. It was a medium-sized dinosaur and grew to about 20 feet long and 6 feet tall. It had long, powerful legs and arms and 3 large sharp claws on each hand. It would have eaten small plant-eating dinosaurs. It had a sleek build and could move fast. Let's have a quick look at all the dinosaurs. I just never realized so many dinosaur names started with the letter A. Thank you for watching Super Fun Reviews. Stay right on here for more great dinosaur videos. See you again soon. For more dinosaur videos, click the picture.